Hey up everybody, my name is Joshua Morrison, director of Johnny Moz's Lessons in Confidence, and today I want to talk a bit about time, because we've got a lot of time, right? We have about 15 hours each day awake to actually get stuff done. That's not counting, getting up and, going back to bed. Because they say you need 8 hours sleep, but realistically, there's also the time when you're actually lying in bed trying to get to sleep. Obviously, a lot of people end up, like myself, you're just sort of scrolling through the feed. I'm usually trying to find a podcast or something to lull you to sleep, but you end up being on there for ages, just trying to find the right thing. And that's certainly time that you could cut down, but realistically you're not going to. So you've got about 15 hours, and then obviously 8 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours of that is working, so you've got about 5 hours, and then of that, maybe you need some time to do errands around the house. Let's call it 3 hours. You haven't got much time, right? You thought you had a lot of time when you saw it was 24 hours in a day, and an hour feels like quite a decent amount of time, right? I mean, a whole movie can be watched in just over 1 hour, right? It's about an hour and 20 minutes, hour 30 minutes for a movie, right? That feels like a pretty long time. That's a journey following from A to B, from beginning to end, right? And that's in just over an hour, so an hour must be a decent amount of time, but it's clearly not, because it seems like we're constantly fighting time. We're constantly running behind. There's always something else that needs doing. There's always another errand that needs doing. There's always another project that needs finishing. Your manager's always having a go at you, going, Jake, you need to get your fucking quarterly report in by Thursday, right? And it's like, for fuck's sake, I've been doing the quarterly report, it feels like all my fucking life. And it just keeps going on and on. And we only have so much time, Say I wanted to record a load of these videos, right? Say I wanted to get 60 done, right, by the end of this month. Well, to do one video takes about, say, 20 minutes, right? There's a setup and the pat down, which is about 5 minutes, and then there's the actual recording and, the first sort of flub take. That's all leads to about 15 minutes, and God forbid that they end up being a bit longer. I get really into my subject, so let's call it 20 minutes per video, right? Times 10, that's 200 minutes. Times 100, that's 2,000 minutes. So 60 minutes in an hour, so 10 hours is 600 minutes. So we're looking at about 30 hours, 33 hours and 20 minutes to be exact, right? And that is over a day, right? So that's a full day of just doing these videos. And that's just the filming of them. That's not going from location to location. That's not counting leaving the house. That's not counting the editing of them all. I know it doesn't look like there's much editing that's going on, but at the end of the day, I still need to, put all the clips onto my laptop. I need to get them off the SD card off of that and off the Google Drive from this, and then I need to put them into the editing timeline, and then I need to do the color correction. I need to put the aspect ratio on. I need to equalize and compress the sound, and I need to export them all, right? So that's all processes that happen, right? There's currently a video exporting at home, and I've gone out to see a mate, and that video said it was going to take like 7 hours. So I'm like, well, I'll be back in about 6 hours. So it'll be around about, by the time I get back, it'll be kind of finishing up. So I'm trying to maximize every single minute of the day to try and get myself ahead of where I'm meant to be. Because if I can get myself ahead of where I'm meant to be, then I can propel myself even further, and I can just get so much done. Because at the moment, I'm currently trying to get my debut feature film out, trying to get my album out, trying to do an album. I want to set aside some time to do an album a day, recording some music at a studio, working on the other fucking feature film that's filmed and I need to edit it, that this whole channel is about, Johnny Moz's Lessons in Confidence. Then there's, I need to edit 2,000 pictures, and I need to get my website up and running. I need to sort out all my social media marketing stuff so that I can then fix up my resume, CV, so that I can then take it to all the different social media marketing companies, because I want to get a job in that because the pay is kind of decent. And I could probably do it from home, which means I could probably move up north and still do it on the computer and just go down to London maybe once a week or something like that, which wouldn't be too bad, because I could just stay with my parents, or stay on a mate's sofa or something like that once every now and then. So that's not a big problem. I could get that all done. but I need to get myself ahead. I need to stop being behind. I feel like I'm constantly running behind schedule. Ever since I started this channel, but even before I started this channel, I've always been running a little bit behind. Say if this is where my goal is meant to be, I'm constantly chasing after it like this, and it's constantly moving further away from me. And if I eventually touch it, I manage to just about touch it with my pinky. You know, if you sort of try and touch the ceiling, and you go, like that, right? And you just about touch it for a split second, then you'll lose it again. You're on your tiptoes, and then your tiptoes come back down to earth, and you're back on your feet. You managed to touch it for that split second, then it got away from you. That's kind of what happens. And it's obviously not just with me, because everyone seems to be running behind with everything. I hear so many people say, oh yeah, I need to do like 365 Instagram posts and schedule them all out. That's just one example. And they thought they could get it all done, like that whole task done in one night, but it turns out they can't. It's going to take like 4 or 5 nighs. Then there's the whole like organising of files where people think that can be done really quickly. It can't. That takes a fucking long time. I do re-backups of all my stuff every like couple months. Whenever I've made a significant amount of progress on various projects, I always back it up onto all my external hard drives. And that process on its own takes about a fucking week. Right, which means I have to do everything off the laptop because the computer is just like that is just reserved for backing things up. Right? I was so scared today. I nearly ejected an external hard drive so that I could put one clip that's on that hard drive onto my laptop so that I could do a bit of video editing. And I forgot that it was backing up a fucking 1.5 terabytes worth of stuff. And I pulled it and it ever so slightly came out, but it didn't like come out quite fully because I didn't tug it properly. And then I was about to tug it properly, and then I thought, actually, let me do it properly. Let me just eject it through the computer. So I went onto the computer and I found the eject button, and it said, no, you can't do that because it's currently in the middle of a process. And I went, oh my God, I can't believe that actually happened. So constantly running behind, right? Because there's always more stuff to do than you think that there is that you need to do. You always have more to do than you think. You're always running behind because of that, because you think that there's only 6 steps to a task, but there's actually 56, right? And all of those 56 are little things that you just presumed would be counted in with the 6 main tasks. So say, for example, I need to get shopping, right? That's one task, right? Well, let's break that down. First, I need to get to the shop, right, and do the shopping. That's one task there. Then that involves picking up all the stuff, involves paying for it. That's 2 things there. I need to get to the shop, and I need to get back, right? Those are up to 4 tasks now. I need to then unpack all the shopping and put it away. That's 6 tasks that we're up to now. I need to remember to take bags with me before I leave, so that's 7. I need to make sure that I've got my wallet and my keys and my phone, right? I need to write a list, right? I need to make sure that I've got cash if I don't have my card, if my card might not be working. So we're up to 12 tasks just with this one thing. And then say if you want to do some like extra errands along the way, say you want to take your clothes to the laundrette on the way, and then do the shopping and then kind of grab your clothes on the way back. That's an extra, packing the clothes away, getting them into something that you can actually take with you, and going to the laundrette, putting it all in the thing, paying the guy, then doing the shopping, all those tasks have already been counted, and then coming back, picking it up, and then leaving again. So we're now up to 19 tasks just to get one thing done with a little bit of an extra thing done, right? So all of those tasks, and that's just a very basic example. You can apply this to all of your life. Say, oh yeah, I need to go to work 5 days a week. Well, first off, there's the being at work for 8 hours, which involves all the many multitude of little tasks you do along the way there that you're getting paid for. So let's just amount that to just one big task, okay, being at work, right? Then you got to get ready for work, which means you got to get your clothes on, brush your teeth, have your breakfast, leave the house, get to the bus, right? Make sure that you got your wallet so that you can get the bus pass out of your wallet. Make sure you got your keys so that when you go home, you're not going to be fucking knocking at the door for no one to answer. Then, there's so many extra little things. Maybe you need to sort out your payroll. Maybe you need to sort out, clocking your hours so that you can, send your things in to your boss because maybe your boss is trying to underpay you. So you have to start, counting your hours so that you know exactly what you're doing. Or maybe, there's an issue, you need to go to HR, and this is all a whole extra bunch of fucking shite. Right? So much stuff can happen, right, out of one task that can explode into a multitude of tasks. And this is why everyone's running behind everything, because we all underestimate how long it takes to do something. How many times have you said, oh yeah, I just need to go home and do this, I'll be done about half an hour, and then I'll meet you there at 2, right? And then you end up meeting them there at 3:30 because you realise that you can't get the task done in that time, right? So now, whenever I think of something, I just presume that it's going to take as long as fucking possible, right? And even then, it still ends up taking longer than I think. Right, but I like to be extremely pessimistic with my time estimates now. Say if I'm going to go out and do some filming, I presume that we've only got time to film 3 scenes. Whereas before, I would have said, let's try and pack 6 scenes in, right? And do you know what? The 3rd scene, we're still rushing. right? So I need to get myself even more conservative and just be like, let's just do one scene a day or something like that, right? Because there's an awful lot that you can get done, right, in a short space of time. But it's a case of actually having the energy at all times to get that done, right? Some people like to make up for that with energy drinks, caffeine tablets, cocaine, you know? But at the end of the day, you are a human being. You are a Homo sapien made of flesh and blood. You are not a machine, right? You're not able to get a million things done at once. You're not a to-do list, right? You are the culmination of all the tasks that you ever set out for yourself. And you are the accomplishment. You yourself are an achievement. And all you need to do is keep achieving. Keep going out there and doing stuff and getting things done. And the more you do it, the more ready to take on the world you'll be. The more ready you are to take on the world, you know, you'll get there. You'll start catching up to that boundary, right? Possibly because you're getting faster and faster and faster, and then bam, 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 and you can overtake it, right? Now, you're sat here, you can have a little rest, right? And then this is kind of coming up to you, the tasks are coming up to you. It's like, right, let's get up. Yeah? So you can get a lot done, right? And it's just a case of doing that big burst. You know when you're studying for university or whatever, and like, I see a lot of people do this, their final project, whatever it's called, thesis, right? They sit and they sit on it and go out partying, taking drugs and fucking drinking and whatever, having sex, right? And then it gets to 1 week before their thesis is due, and they're like, I need to do it. Suddenly they're up all night getting stuff done, right? Why didn't you do those fucking all-nighters beforehand and then spend the week beforehand going out and having sex and partying and drinking out of red Solo cups or whatever it is the fuck you do when you go to uni? I never went to uni. But I mean, I've slept in uni dorms, and I know that there's a lot of like people, there's a lot of parties that go on. It would have been all right, I suppose. Seems like a big waste of money though. I wouldn't mind doing it if uni was free, but I'm certainly not fucking paying for it. Because you're going to have to buy all the alcohol and the fucking cocaine or whatever it is you do in these things. I don't know what it is you do at these parties. Probably smoke a lot of weed. But yeah, you know, you're doing all that partying when you could be getting the thesis done, right? And you're sat there not doing the thesis. Meanwhile, that deadline's coming up and up and up. Why don't you just do all the thesis now, and then the deadline can come up and up and up, and you can just sit back and relax. And you can go to those parties with a clean conscience and just go, I don't have to worry, right? I know obviously it's not going to work like that. If you're at uni now, tell me in the comments why that doesn't work, because I bet you've tried it and it hasn't worked out for you. And if it hasn't worked out for you, maybe it's not just a case of, you know, just trying the same thing again and again. Maybe it's just trying to do something in a new way, setting a slight new routine for yourself, you know. Maybe take your laptop out to the park and write on a hill, or go to a cafe and write at the cafe. Put yourself in a new surroundings, because that tends to cause you to be more productive because you're not sat in your same spot. Like for instance, having your bed where you work is a terrible idea. Because, I mean, and most of us can't avoid it, right? Because we're working in such small dorms, and there's a lot of like studio flats or uni dorm. They all have a bed and a desk, right? So you can't avoid this. But it's bad because you're sat where you're sat trying to be productive, where you do your most unproductive thing. Sleep is incredibly unproductive, right? Obviously you need it for your life, but you can't get anything done in your sleep. The only thing I can get done in my sleep is I can leave stuff exporting or transferring or uploading in my sleep, right? And then the hum of the computer kind of helps put me to sleep. So yeah, if you're falling behind on everything, there's these little bursts you can do to try and catch up to yourself. And if you can kind of do that and catch up, then you can get somewhere. You can get back to where you started, right? Because you started off on a clean slate when you were born, and you were falling behind ever since. And if you can get back to where you were, then you've got a whole world in front of you that you can have a look at and figure out what you want to do, right? With less stress, with less worry, without having to move at 1,000,000 miles an hour. And to me, that seems like a blissful existence, right? It almost seems like retirement, but early, where you still have to do a bit of work. That's kind of what I want to do. And that's why I'm trying to pump out so much at the moment. I'm trying to do stuff. I'm working as hard as I fucking can so that I can get all my projects out at the same time, so that I've got a whole world ahead of me to fill up with new projects and new tasks to complete. So for a whole new era ahead of me, right? That's what I want to do. That's why I've been releasing so many of these videos lately, is because I want to try and get myself into a new realm of some kind where I'm doing something else, right? get myself so used to doing these that I can just do them easily, right? Almost like second nature. And then I can do other things alongside it, projects that maybe I have more passion for, not something necessarily like that, but just something new, because I've been doing this for a while now. And the more I do it, the less novel it will become, and the more routine it will become. And when it becomes routine, I'd like to have something novel to replace it. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. It's kind of gone off on a little bit of a ramble towards the end, but I hope it's all made some level of sense. Let me know your thoughts in terms of productivity. Do you think it's possible to get to the end goal? Do you think we're all running behind for a reason because we set ourselves a bit higher expectations than we might otherwise be able to fulfill? Let me know your thoughts on that in general, because I would be very interested to know. And yeah, it's a long future ahead of us where we get a lot done, but I'm sure that we can do it. I'm sure that you can do it. You can get everything done that you need to get done. Tell me your to-do list. Put in your comments your whole to-do list. What do you need to do? Do a master plan for yourself and think, can you get that done? Can you do it? I bet you can fucking do it. My leg hurts. Just keep fucking doing it. You can do it, man. I'm sure you can do it, right? Just put your whole master plan in the comment section. Just write it out for yourself. And if you write it out for yourself, then you'll kind of get acquainted with it, and you'll kind of figure out exactly what you need to do, what's urgent, what's not urgent, what's important, what's not important. And the more that you can do that, the more that you'll be able to sit back and go, right, these are my priorities. And if you can sort your priorities out, then you are doing pretty fucking well, my friend, because not many people are in that position. So yeah, that's going to be it from me. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.